Hi dear Libras, welcome to my YouTube channel, and in this video I'm going to talk about the transits for the month of November. I apologize for the lack of pleasant background this month. It's just I was sick and I couldn't record it outside. So yeah, in October you guys had a solar eclipse in your sign, the first one in 18 years on the south node, and the first one in 8 years since like 2015, 2014, yeah. And so it's big, it's major. I hope it brought like pleasant news, pleasant changes into your life. November, thankfully, is going to be boring, quite frankly, and that's good because it'll give us time to recover from all the hectic energies of the eclipses. So let's see. At the beginning of November, we have a series of oppositions. We have Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus, and then we have these planets in Scorpio, and they will be making an opposition. Each time they move to a degree and they make an opposition. So yeah, there will be like November will require balancing, and Libras, you guys are excellent at that. So on November 3rd, we have Jupiter Mercury opposition, and since Jupiter is involved in this opposition is not really that bad. Normally, oppositions are considered like tense aspects, yeah, but here it's more like on a mental level because both of these planets rule our mental part. Okay, so Mercury is like critical thinking, paying attention to details, and Jupiter is the one who looks at the big picture philosophically. So yeah, on that day it'll require some sort of like balancing act. And for you Libras, this opposition is happening in your second house and eighth house, so financially. Okay, so thoughts, discussions regarding finances, around finances. On the same day, on November 3rd, Venus in Virgo is going to make an opposition to Neptune in Pisces. And this aspect screams delusion. Or, I mean, I should say like rose tinted glasses, because Venus, it's love, your ruling planet. And Neptune is like delusions, imagination, illusions. So, yeah, when you combine these two, you get idealizing your partner and ignoring the red flags. But thankfully, this transit is very temporary. Venus is a quite quick moving planet, so yeah, this aspect is going to be active for like 2-3 days maximum. And for you Libras, this is happening in your 12th house and 6th house. Yeah, 12th house is like subconscious. When Venus is involved, it can be like secret romance. I mean, Libras, I'm not saying that there will be some secret romance going on. And you get this transit every year, and I don't think you get involved in like secret affairs, right? So yeah, this is just I guess if you look at it from more positive perspective, this can mean that November 3rd can be a very romantic day. Yeah, when you kind of like ignore all the faults and stuff, you forget all the bad things that happened, and you want to enjoy the time with your partner. Yeah. Next on the next day, on November 4th, we have Mercury in Scorpio making opposition to Uranus in Taurus. And now this one is kind of like um, sudden realizations, because Mercury is thought and Uranus is like sudden flashes of brilliance. And so when you connect these two, it's like yeah, mentally like flashes. That's all I keep like thinking, like flashes. So maybe you will realize something, like aha moment. Okay, and this transit is temporary. um, and so I'm saying mentally because Uranus is a higher octave of Mercury. Yeah, so when they make an aspect, mental stuff is triggered. And for you Libras, this is happening again in your second house and eighth house. So November mostly is like a financial month for you because the sun is visiting your second house. It's like, imagine the king visiting like each house in your chart, and each house is like I don't know, something like. So the second house, think of it as the bank, so the king is visiting your bank. And like, yeah, so and November is mostly financial, and then towards the end of November you start being more of a social butterfly because the sun is going to enter your third house of communication. Okay, but I'm getting ahead. So On November 4th, Saturn is going to station direct in Pisces on the 0th degree of Pisces. So this is strong. So Saturn stationing in Pisces, it has been retrograding since June, and it entered Pisces in March. So you got this like a preview, of a trailer of what this Saturn in Pisces transit is going to be like for you for the next 2.5 years. And for you Libras, this is in your 6th house. So Saturn, think of it as the taskmaster, like the inspector. Yeah, like there's this David Bowie music video. I cannot remember which one. I think it's like Let's Dance. Yeah, where he's playing the role of an inspector. And the thing is, David Bowie was a Capricorn, and so that moment was like, whoa, that's like very Capricorn of him. That's, yeah. So think of that, like, so that inspector is visiting your 6th house of work. So the inspector is going to make sure that everyone is doing their job properly, and if something is not being done right, that is punished. And if you have been doing something right in that area of your life, you're going to get rewarded. Yeah. So I myself recently experienced this transit, Saturn in the 6th house, because I have Virgo rising. And I got my dream job, like a job that I didn't even think I could get. Like, so throughout my 20s, I worked in like very low paying jobs. I did it just for the sake of gaining experience. And when Saturn entered my 6th house, I got a teaching position at university. Yeah, like I was a graduate teaching assistant, and I taught like a freshman course. And so I never even dreamt of that. But when I applied for grad school, I applied for that and I got it. So 6th house, Saturn, rewarded me for my hard work, for my sacrifices in my 20s. So yeah, Libras, this can happen to you. If you feel like in your 20s, or lately, you have not been getting what you deserve in terms of your work, Saturn is going to reward you. Okay. So yeah, and also Saturn in the 6th house, it's the house of like health. So you might become more conscious of your health, like how you take care of your body, what kind of food you consume. Like you're gonna be more concerned with like your overall health. You might start exercising. Like me, for example, I never really exercised. I was always like fit, but when Saturn was in my 6th house, I was like, I want to get toned. I want like toned arms and stuff, and so I started working out. And so Saturn in the 6th house can do that. But if you already do work out regularly, yeah, then you should be fine. And so yeah, it's just Saturn is gonna make you more serious about those matters. Like you will start probably cooking more at home instead of like buying outside because you are more concerned with your health, not like because of the finances. Does that make sense? Okay, so next, on November 5th, we have the last quarter moon in Leo. This is an insignificant transit. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because it marks the beginning of a week where not much happens. So use this time to wrap things up that started with the new moon in October during the solar eclipse, and start getting ready for the next new moon, like applications and stuff. Like if you need to mail something that needs to be delivered soon, you should do that, and so that it's delivered by the time of the new moon. Yeah, and so again, use this time to recharge your batteries, and don't waste energy trying to start anything new, because the moon will be getting smaller and smaller each day until it disappears before the new moon. Yeah, and so next, on November 8th, Venus is gonna enter Libra, your sign. So Venus loves being in Libra, and imagine the pink mansion of Barbie. That's Venus in Libra, Venus's house. So yeah, and Libras, you will get a boost of Venus. Like you will be at your peak charming, peak beautiful. Yeah, like maximum. And then it's a great time to go shopping. Yeah, when Venus is in your sign, you will find things that you love, and those things will look great on you. They will be of good quality because Venus is in good shape. She's not retrograde. Yeah, so if you need to buy winter clothes, I would say do so after November 8th. Okay, you will find beautiful clothes. Um, and so yeah, you'll have Venus in your sign for about a month. Okay, slightly less than a month. So yeah, enjoy that transit. You'll be extra charming, loving. On November 10th, Mercury enters Sagittarius, okay? And as soon as it enters Sagittarius, it's going to make a square to Saturn in Pisces. So in the beginning, even though like normally Mercury in Sagittarius is very carefree, optimistic, goofy, but that Saturn in Pisces is gonna be like like Saturn is gonna throw an obstacle or like be a party pooper. But thankfully, that aspect is very short term. It's gonna be active for like a couple of days only. Next, on November. Oh wait, no. So about that Mercury, it's gonna enter your third house of communication. So. Starting from November 10th, or maybe I should say starting from November 13th, you will be more talkative, more chatty. Probably you'll be texting a lot more, or it will be the time when you'll have to write a long report for work. Yeah, and it's great for that because Mercury is the natural ruler of the third house. So when you have Mercury transiting that house, yeah, it will be great to easily type those long reports. The words will come easy. Yeah, so if you have such a thing that you need to write, don't postpone. Do it while Mercury is in your third house. Okay. Next, on November 11th, Mars in Scorpio is gonna make an opposition to Uranus in Taurus. Again, your second house and eighth house. So finances, my money, my partner's money, or like my money, the loans. Yeah, shared resources. And so, but overall, Mars opposition in Uranus is like it's a very impulsive aspect because Uranus is like sudden flashes. Mars is like the planet of action, and so when you combine these two, it's like impulsive action. So yeah, like on that day, you might be like, I don't know, like I guess more impulsive. Everyone will be more impulsive. Yeah, be careful while driving. Another possible outcome of this opposition is that your nervous system will be more active than usual because Uranus rules our nervous system and Mars is the activator. So imagine like overly active nervous system. Yeah, and then on November 13th, we have a new moon in Scorpio on the 20th degree of Scorpio. So if you are waiting for news, announcements, decisions, you can expect them to come starting from November 10th until like around November 16th. Yeah, so you can feel the effects of the new moon 3 days before and after. So this new moon is going to happen in your second house. As I said, November is very financial for you. So some news regarding your finances. It might not be that big. I was going to say, but I am not going to say that because this is the first new moon after the solar eclipse in Libra. The thing is, sometimes the events associated with the eclipse can play out either a month before or after the eclipse itself. So if you feel like nothing happened to you in October during the solar eclipse, it might happen like around this new moon in Scorpio. Okay. So yeah, and the thing about this new moon, it has an element of surprise because of opposition to Uranus. So yeah, like you can expect some surprises, not necessarily bad. Like surprises can be good sometimes, right? On November 18th, Scorpio Sun and Mars are gonna make a conjunction. This is interesting because this time the ruler of the Sun is conjunct the Sun, and so this marks the beginning of a new cycle for Scorpios. I mean, for Mars in general. And this conjunction is happening in your second house, so a new cycle in your finances. It might be very subtle, like very, very subtle. It's not something that you're gonna notice like right away. And this is something that you can only notice like when you look back, like when you're reflecting a couple of years later. And so next on November 24th, on November 22nd, the Sun is gonna enter Sagittarius, your third house. Okay, so Mercury entered Sagittarius earlier, and now the Sun, and then on the 24th, Mars is going to enter it. So you can see the planets are leaving your second house and are starting to line up in your third house. So the focus is shifting from finances, shared resources, your values, your self-esteem, towards a more light-hearted topics, like because the third house is very Gemini, and Gemini, she's a social butterfly. She's yeah, socialite. So mm November November 22nd to like November December 21st is the time when you are the socialite, Libra. You'll feel like talking, chatting, interacting, having short trips, yeah, exploring your city, exploring the new restaurants in your city, stuff like that. Hanging out with your friends, like girls' night out, stuff like that. And then finally, at the end of the month, we have a full moon in Gemini on the fourth degree of Gemini. And for you, Libras, Gemini is your ninth house. And so the sun will be in your third house, the moon will be in your ninth house. The full moon is the time of culminations, illuminations, okay, achievements. So something about the ninth house matters coming into a culmination. So maybe if you are traveling right now, around this full moon is the time when you come home. Or for some, if you have been taking a course around this time, you will probably finish that course, graduate from that course. I don't think anyone graduates like at the end of November, but like, you know what I mean. Yeah, I don't think it will be like a university graduation. And so, ninth house, as I said, so something to do with travels, education, foreigners. Okay. What else? This full moon is the first full moon after the lunar eclipse in Taurus in October, at the end of October. So again, the event associated with that lunar eclipse might play out around this full moon because the full moon lunar eclipse effects might play out a month before or after the lunar eclipse itself. So yeah. Um, Libras, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe, and remember that I offer astrology readings, birth chart readings, astrocartography readings, compatibility readings, transits, and stuff. So if you would like a reading, please email me, okay, or leave a comment. And I promise to reply to emails on time in November. In October, I was horrible, so I apologize for that. And I hope you guys have a pleasant November. Okay, I'll see you guys in December.